Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Maya Javani Kakchanam. Maya Javani Kakchanam. Agyadhoksha Jamavyayam. Agyadhoksha Jamavyayam. Na lakshase mudadrisha. Na lakshase mudadrisha. Nato natyadaro yata. Nato natyadaro yata. Maya javani gachanam. Agyadhoksha jamavyayam. Na lakshase mudadrisha. Nato natyadaro yata. Maya javani gachanam. Agyadhoksha jamavyayam. Na lakshase mudadrisha. Nato natyadaro yata. Maya jamanikakchanam. Samayavyam. Chamavyayam. Na lakshase mudadrisha. Nato natyadaro yata. Maya javani gachanam. Agyadhoksha jamavyayam. Na lakshase mudadrisha. Nato natyadharo yata. Ladies. Maya javani gachanam. Agyadhoksha jamavyayam. Na lakshase mudadrisha. Yata. Maya deluding. Javanika curtain. Achananam covered by. Agya ignorant. Adhoksajam beyond the range of material conception. Transcendental. Avyayam, irreproachable. Not. Lakshase, observed. Mudadrisha, by the foolish observer. Nataha, artist. Natyadaraha, dressed as a player. Yata, as. Translation. Being beyond the range of limited perception, You are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed by a player is not recognized. Repeat after me. Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. In the Bhagavad-gita, Lord Sri Krishna affirms that less intelligent persons mistake him as an ordinary man like us, and thus they deride him. The same is confirmed herein by Queen Kunti. The less intelligent persons are those who rebel against the authority of the Lord. Such persons are known as asuras. The asuras cannot recognize the Lord's authority. When the Lord Himself appears amongst us as Ram, Nrsimha, Varaha, or in His original form as Krishna, He performs many wonderful acts which are humanly impossible, as we shall find in the 10th canto of this great literature. Lord Sri Krishna exhibited His humanly impossible activities even from the days of His lying on the lap of His mother. He killed the Putana witch, although she smeared her breast with poison just to kill the Lord. The Lord sucked her breast like a natural baby, and He sucked out her very life also. Similarly, He lifted the Govardhan hill, just as a boy picks up a frog's umbrella and stood several days continuously just to give protection to the residents of Vrindavan. These are some of the superhuman activities of the Lord described in the authoritative Vedic literatures like the Puranas, Itihasas, histories, and Upanishads. He has delivered wonderful instructions in the shape of Bhagavad-gita. He has shown marvelous capacities as a hero, as a householder, as a teacher, and as a renouncer. He is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by such authoritative personalities as Vyas, Devala, Asit, Narad, Madhva, Shankar, Ramanuja, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, and all other authorities of the line. He himself has declared as much in many places of the authentic literatures. And yet, there is a class of men with demoniac mentality who are always reluctant to accept the Lord as the supreme absolute truth. This is partially due to their poor fund of knowledge and partially due to their stubborn obstinacy, which results from various misdeeds in the past and present. Such persons could not recognize Lord Sri Krishna, even though He was present before them. Another difficulty is that those who depend more on their imperfect senses cannot realize Him as the Supreme Lord. Such persons are like the modern scientist. They want to know everything by their experimental knowledge. But it is not possible to know the Supreme Person by imperfect experimental knowledge. He is described herein as Adhoksaja, are beyond the range of experimental knowledge. All our senses are imperfect. We claim to observe everything and anything, but we must admit that we can observe things under certain material conditions only, which is also beyond our control. The Lord is beyond the observation of sense perception. Queen Kunti accepts this deficiency of the conditioned soul, especially of the woman class who are less intelligent. For the less intelligent men, there must be such things as temples, mosques, or churches, so they may begin to recognize the authority of the Lord and hear about him from authorities in such holy places. For less intelligent men, this beginning of spiritual life is essential, and only foolish men decry the establishment of such places of worship, which are required to raise the standard of spiritual attributes for the mass of people. For less intelligent persons, bowing down before the authority of the Lord are generally done in temples, mosques, or churches, is as beneficial as it is for the advanced devotees to meditate upon him by active service. Om Ajnana Timidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Kuroti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Garim Yat Kripa Taraham Bande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Paramanam Namadavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram. Maya Javanik Achanam Agyad Hokshajamaviyam Nalakshase Mudhadvisha Nato Natya Dharo Yataha. So, Krishna, he is not visible to the conditioned souls. And here it's described that his deluding energy forms a curtain, right? Just like when it's time for the offering, they put the curtain, close the doors, right? So that time you don't see the deity. No, not possible to see the deity. But the deity is there. In the same way, the Lord, he's everywhere. In the previous verse, Kunti says, Antarbahirvastam, that he's inside and he's outside. He's inside of everything, he's outside of everything. He's in our hearts as a super soul. Savasachaham Sanivisto Matasmitir Agyanam Poanam Cha. So he knows everything. He's giving us knowledge, he's giving us remembrance, forgetfulness. And he mentions in the Brahma Samhita that he's in every atom. So we understand that the Lord is there, everywhere. And Srila Prabhupada gives the example that the tiny, small soul, 1/10,000th the tip of a hair, is in the body. And therefore the body has life. The body is moving. There's consciousness. Because of the presence of the soul. When the soul's not there, then what happens? Body's dead. When the soul is present, if somebody disturbs someone, then they become all upset. Mere ko hath kyun lagaya? Tera dekhna padega. Right? They become all worked up. Right? But when the soul's not there, you kick on the dead body's face, no protest. So because of the presence of the soul, therefore the body is working. Not hard to understand. Is it hard to understand? Huh? Anyone can understand, isn't it? So in the same way, we see this material universe, this energy of the Lord, Bhumir Apo Nalo Vayu, it's working in a certain way. The sun's rising in a systematic manner. It's not that one day the sun rises at 5:30 and sometimes the sun rises at 10 o'clock. No, systematic. Sun is rising. Seasons are changing. Fruits are available at certain times. Right? Now you can get jamun. Right? In America, they don't have jamun. And the Americans have never seen a jamun. Right? But in India, there's jamun. When does it come? Now is the season. It doesn't come in the winter. Doesn't come in the rainy season. It comes now in the hot season. Jamun. System. There's a system. Right? Not whimsical. Everything is working according to a system. So in the same way that we understand this body is working because the soul is there, in the same way we understand this universe is working because of the Supreme Soul, Krishna. Therefore it's working. It's not difficult to understand. Right? But yet, we don't see Krishna. Right? It says here, Achanam, a curtain, his Maya. Right? Mayadhyakshena Prakriti, this Krishna's energy, his Maya, right, covers him. It's curtain of Maya. So, the conditioned soul has to become elevated in consciousness in order to perceive the Lord. What's keeping the Lord from our perception is because he is adhoksajam. He's not perceived by the material senses. He's imperceptible by our material senses. Atha Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhaved Grayam Indriyai. Just like sometimes, they have the movie theater, and on the ticket it says they reserve the right not to allow someone or to come in the theater. Right? So Krishna is like that. He reserves the right. Who can see him, who cannot see him. So who can see him? Agya. Agya means ignorant fools. Prabhupada calls them mudhas. Avajananti ma mudha manusim tanumashritam. And Krishna says, when I appear as a human being, the mudhas, they don't understand. They think I'm an ordinary person. Right? So agya, the mudhas. One time in Chicago, Prabhupada was lecturing on this verse. And he said that, who are the mudhas? The mudhas are the sinful persons. Right? Eating meat, drinking liquor. So they remain agya. They remain the mudha. They can never know Krishna. They can never know who is Krishna. And he said, therefore I'm requesting you, follow these 4 regulated principles. No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication. Because if you do these things, you can never see Krishna. You can never know Krishna. Krishna doesn't remove the curtain. Hmm? The material scientists, they want to observe everything with their senses. They think that they will be able to know everything. Prabhupada says, why are they placing so much importance on their senses, on their seeing? One time in a lecture, one person stood up and challenged Srila Prabhupada, can you show me God? And Prabhupada fired back, what's your qualification to see God? Why you're so depending so much on your sight, what you can see? It's very limited. Very limited. You can see under certain conditions, right? If we turn out the lights, if there's no sun, no electricity, then what you'll see? It doesn't happen in Bombay so much, but in Mayapur it happens regularly. Power gone, load setting, everything is dark. You can't see your hand in front of your face. Unless there's a certain condition, unless there's light, when the generator goes on, then you can see again. So why we're placing so much importance on our eyes? Where here it says, the Supreme Lord is adhoksaja. He's imperceptible by the material senses. And as long as you're agya, mudha, you may have PhD, XYZ or ABC, but you can still be mudha. Searching for something in this material world to make us happy. Where Krishna says clearly, he gives us instructions. This place is dukkhalayam and ashashvatam, temporary and filled with misery. But yet because agya, foolish persons, mudha, everyone is working hard, right? They're thinking, I'll get money and I'll have, family and I'll be happy. The politician is thinking, I'll get the votes, right? And I'll become the president and I'll be happy. But what is the value of that? You became president. In next life, you became a dog in Switzerland. What happened? What is the value in that? The only happiness is that for a few years, I'm thinking I'm the president or I'm the prime minister. When the real value of life, it passed us by. Yes, we have intelligence. We can think things analytically because of a human form of life. We have more intelligence than a dog. But Srila Prabhupada says, if you simply use that intelligence like an animal to eat, sleep, mate, and defend, and what's the difference? The dog is walking on 4 legs, and the car is running on 4 wheels, but the running business is the same. Get in the train, go downtown to Churchgate, get out of the train, get in the queue to go by bus to the office, work hard, again in the queue to catch the bus, to come to the train, pack into the train. What is the happiness there? Can anyone say? A little bit of sex life. Again, the example is the donkey, the ass. The ass is working so hard, Prabhupada said, and he gets kicked in the face by the female ass when he tries to go for sex life, right? So human life is meant for something more than this. Human life is meant that Krishna will remove the curtain. It's an opportunity. It's a chance to have this achanam, this curtain removed so that we can understand who is Krishna. And that's not done by seeing, that's done by hearing. Therefore, we're daily hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. By hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, a purification of the heart takes place, so that we don't remain mudha drisha. Here the word is mudha drisha, by the foolish observer. We're looking around, but we're not getting the true picture. It's like we got cataracts. You have eyes, but you can't see because the eyes are blurred out by this desire for sense gratification. Only when the eyes are smeared with the love of Godhead, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena, then you can see. When we have developed love for Krishna, there's this thing that they put kajal. Kajal? It helps the eyes see better, right? They put it on the small child, kajal. There's some other word for it in Kashmir. Sumra or something. Huh? Surma, right? So that's like an anjan you put and your eyes can see better, right? So, Premanjana Charita, we need that ointment of love of Godhead. Then we can see things actually. Right now we're all walking around with cataracts. The vision is very blurred out, not clear. If you're blind by cataract, you have to take someone's help to cross the street, to go from here to there, is it not? So who gives that help? The devotee of Krishna, the pure devotee of Krishna. He's guiding by his instructions. If the person with cataracts is filled with false ego, thinking, oh no, I don't need anybody's help. I don't need guru. Our mind is telling us, I don't need one, I don't need guru. Right? This is a hankar. Like some people say, tum kaun hai? Hum kya hai, malum hai? It's called a hankar. So Guru is there, he cuts away that hankar with a chaku, opens the cataracts, opens the cataracts of ignorance, so that we're no longer muda drisha, foolish. You can chant the holy name of Krishna for many lifetimes and still be muda drisha. You know? Can still be muda drisha. If there's many offenses that are made to the holy name. Therefore, it requires expert guidance. We require guidance. if I'm thinking, right, that there's nobody above me, nobody can tell me anything, then if your cup is full, how Krishna will put anything in your cup? How he'll put love of Godhead in your cup if your cup is full? If you're so filled up with yourself that you know everything, nobody can tell you anything, then what Krishna will do? It's your own full, you remain mudha-drisha. We see in the example of the devotees, they're ready to be corrected. They're ready to admit their fault. Why? Because they know the goal. They're not confused by anything in this material world. They want that premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena. So, Queen Kunti is advising, is glorifying Krishna, right? Just see how she is. On the one hand, she's saying we're less intelligent ladies, but she's so intelligent. 5,000 years later, we're studying her verses. They have so much meaning for us in our effort to become Krishna conscious. She knows Krishna, how great Krishna is. And just think about it, how Krishna is great. Right? Prabhupada talks about there's a thief, and the thief is praying to Krishna, help me steal, get some wealth. And there's a householder who's praying to Krishna, don't let the thief come and take my things. Right? So both are praying to Krishna. Contradictory things. Krishna's adjusting everything. Right? And at the same time, although unlimited prayers are offered to him with contradictory things, he never becomes bewildered. Right? He's always, if a big businessman has a big company and there's a lot of decisions to make, he becomes bewildered. Right? He doesn't get time to see his family even because he has to work. And so many decisions have to be taken. And sometimes there's so much stress, he gets a heart attack. So much stress. They have to get a stint, right? But just think of Krishna, so many people praying, so many different things. He's hearing it all, Paramatma. But he never gets distressed. Always has a cool head. He's always dancing with the gopis. He's always playing with his cowherd boyfriends. Cool. He never forgets them. He's always with them. And yet he's maintaining everything else. This is Krishna. So such a person, we want to know. Such a person, we want to develop our relationship with that person. Therefore, Kunti is saying, this verse, Nato natya dharo yataha. He's dressed up like an ordinary person, but yet he's not an ordinary person. Prabhupada gives his accomplishments, lifting Govardhan Hill, he killed the witch Putana, he spoke the Bhagavad-gita, he performed so many wonderful things. He's not an ordinary person. But yet, because we're covered over, we have this desire to be happy here in the material world, therefore we can't see. Just like a child may go see his father in the play, in the drama. It was a drama. We used to have dramas in Bhakti Kalakshetra, but we don't have so many nowadays. Maybe we can start that again, having dramas. But the child's father is in the drama, but he's dressed as a king. And even though some see your father, he can't see the father because he's dressed, he's acting like a king. He can't understand who he is because of his makeup and costume, right? So Krishna's like that for us. He's there, but we can't appreciate him due to our attachment to this material world. So that attachment can become changed. We'll always have, it's not like we don't have attachment, we'll have attachment. But we transfer that attachment from this things and people in this material world to the Supreme Lord, his associates in the spiritual world. And the chief way to do that is by chanting. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's none other than Krishna himself, he appeared a little over 500 years ago, right, to give people prema bhakti. When Lord Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago and spoke the Bhagavad-gita, he said, "You surrender unto me." But people couldn't surrender. They couldn't figure out how to surrender. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared with all of his associates and freely distributed love of Godhead. Surrendered or not surrendered, he distributed love of Godhead. So that facility of obtaining pure devotional service by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there. There's just one little catch. You got to give up sense gratification. Right? Vishaya chariya, serasa majiya. Give up this desire for sense gratification, then you can enjoy Krishna ras, Krishna prem. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, his associates in Vrindavan also came. Today is the disappearance day of Abhiram Das Thakur. So Abhiram Das Thakur was one of the 12 Gopals of Lord Nityananda. And in Krishna Lila, he was Sridham. Sridham is the son of Rishabhanu in Vrindavan. But he came here and his mood was, he was very merciful. He would freely give people love of Godhead. And in fact, he had a whip. And that whip's name was Jaya Mangal. And anybody he touched with that whip, they would develop love of Godhead. Abhiram Das Thakur. He was known as Ram Das. So he was born in a village called Kanakul Krishnanagar. Kanakul Krishnanagar. Once I had the opportunity to go there. I went with Tatpar Maharaj. We went by bus. And you had to walk also to go to this village of Abhiram Das Thakur. And there's a temple. And in the temple is a beautiful deity of Gopinath. Beautiful deity of Gopinath. So there's a story that the Lord appeared to Abhiram in a dream. And just in his Kanakul Krishnanagar village, the Lord appeared and he said, "You dig here, I'm there in the ground." So Abhiram Das Thakur arranged for digging, and they dug and they dug, and they found the deity of Gopinath. And he installed the deity in the temple. And in the place where he dug, it became a big lake. And that lake, anybody who goes there and bathes, they will obtain love for Krishna. It's described. It's called Ram Kund. Ram Kund. And in that temple also, along with Gopinath, on the wall is the Jai Mangal, the whip of Abhiram Das Thakur, who he used to, once he whipped Srinivasa Acharya, who wrote the prayer to the 6 Goswamis. And in that way he obtained pure love for Krishna. So that place is there. You can have the darshan of Gopinath if you're very fortunate. One of the eternal associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, Abhiram Das Thakur. So, if there's any questions, we can try to answer them, or any comments, reflections.
Hare Krishna. Why we get birth in Switzerland?
Why?
We get birth in Switzerland.
Why we took birth?
Who make some mistake, they get birth in Switzerland.
Oh,
Why?
definitely. If someone takes birth in a dog's body, wherever it is, Switzerland, America, or Juhu Beach, it's because they were sinful in their last life. The form that the living entity takes is according to the consciousness the living entity has developed. One may have a human body, but if in that human body one is not developing the consciousness of what a human being is supposed to do, then he'll be developing some lower consciousness. Some people think that once you become a human being, then you'll always be a human being. They believe in reincarnation, but they think once you become a human, but not necessarily so. Right? If you develop the consciousness of a dog, then in your next life you can take birth as a dog. Prabhupada said some people like to sleep. You know, bears, balu, they live in the forest, in the mountains. America, they have bears. India, they have bears. They're in the Himalayas. So in the wintertime, they sleep for 6 months. Right? So some people are very fond of sleeping. They like to sleep. Right? When we were traveling in Maharashtra, remember? Early morning, the people sleep. And they say that early morning sleeping is Parama Anand. But the devotees don't think like that. The devotees get up early. They come to Mangala arati. They chant and dance in kirtan. And for them, that is Paramanam. So if you like sleeping, then you take birth as a bear and sleep 6 months nicely. But that will be a great loss, because the human form of life is meant for something more than that. The human form of life is meant for obtaining love for Krishna, to reestablish our lost, loving relationship with Lord Krishna. And that's what actually everyone is looking for. Ye yatamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. Krishna says, all of them, as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. We're bound to surrender to something. If we don't surrender to Krishna, then we'll surrender to our senses. So the program is to use the senses in the service of Krishna. We have tongue, eyes, nose, ears, right? So we engage our tongue in describing the glories of Krishna, in chanting Krishna's holy name, and eating Krishna prasadam. And therefore, in that way, senses become purified. And when the senses are sufficiently purified and the Lord has His causeless mercy on him, then we'll experience Krishna. And for those who have experienced Krishna, like Dhruva Maharaj, he said, I was looking for pieces of broken glass. He wanted a kingdom, right? Just like people in Bombay, they want a bungalow, they want a bacha, they want bank balance, right? So Dhruva wanted a kingdom. But when he got Krishna, when he got the Supreme Lord, he said, I was looking for pieces of broken glass, but I've got the diamond. That's the process of devotional service. To give us the diamond of attraction for Lord Krishna through chanting His holy name, rendering devotional service. Okay? Any other questions? Hanuman, no question? Every day you have a question? Oh, you were waiting for everybody else, right?
Hare Krishna. The saintly persons come to the material world to deliver the fallen souls. And someplace it is said that, Sri Prabhupada said that, don't worry how you have fallen in the ocean, but now think how can you save yourself and go back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Not only the saintly persons come to deliver, they go back to Godhead and they leave a path, they leave a process, how to go back, that's just suitable for the time, place, and circumstance. Like Srila Prabhupada came to America and he instructed, follow these regulator principles and chant Hare Krishna, be happy, go back home, back to Godhead. When he first arrived, he thought and saw how fallen the people were. Eating meat, drinking liquor, gambling. Will they ever listen? If I tell them to follow these principles, they may put me back on the boat and send me back to India. But just see, due to Srila Prabhupada's intense desire to serve Krishna and his spiritual master, Krishna, from within the hearts of so many living entities, he gave them some idea to do devotional service, reciprocating with his devotee. One time, one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, how do we develop pious credits? And Prabhupada explained that I am giving you pious credits. By association with Srila Prabhupada, we develop pious credits. So, in that way, by following Prabhupada's directions, reading his books, trying to give his books to other people, right? So they'll be benefited, then Krishna will help us to reach the goal. Is that okay, Hanuman? Yes, back there's a question. Microphone, backside. All the way to the back. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, so you mentioned that even if we chant Hare Krishna for many lifetimes, but if we commit offenses, we won't get the benefit of chanting the holy name. But in the process of chanting, we do commit offenses, but there's still a hope that by chanting, we may get rid of them. And also the glories are mentioned that by chanting, we'll get rid of the attachments in the material world. But whenever this point comes again and again, that by committing offenses, we may not be able to get the full benefit of chanting, or we may take many lifetimes and not go back to Godhead, it becomes hopeless for me personally.
So there's a special facility for the Kali Yuga living entities, and that is to take shelter of the holy name of the Panchatattva. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Whether one is offensive or not offensive, if one takes shelter of the Panchatattva mantra, then progress is there. The clearing stage. There's the offensive stage, there's a clearing stage. Namabhas and Shudnam. These are the stages. So by chanting, taking shelter of the Panchatattva mantra, we're clearing the offenses. And therefore, Prabhupada says, before we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, first we chant Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. And in this way, you become clear from offenses. One other way of becoming free of offenses is to continuously chant. Don't stop chanting, just keep chanting, and the offenses will go away. And then the third method for becoming free from offenses is to develop a service attitude. A service attitude to the devotees, right? Our natural conditioned state is that we want to be served. Everyone should serve me. But a devotee's mentality is to render service to others. Like in the example of Srila Prabhupada's life, his desire to help people, to serve his spiritual master and all the conditioned souls to come to the process of bhakti, prompted him at advanced age to get on a ship where he had 2 heart attacks and come to America, right, out of his desire to serve. So developing a service mentality is very important to become free from offenses in the chanting the holy name. These 3 methods. Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.